Let's invite our session moderator. Like I said, this is going to be super powerful. So brace yourself as we first up welcome Mayurakshi Ray, your session moderator, the independent director, first women cybersecurity board member in India. Ladies and gentlemen, I think this summit can't get better. Mr. Ray, wow, you're gleaming with such vibrant colors. I love what you're wearing. Please welcome her with a good round of applause, everybody. And as Mayurakshi joins us, thank you very much for that lovely, lovely smile. Did you say you love yourself? Lovely. So here it is, inviting your session discussants as well. Please allow me to welcome the ace Abhijit Chakravarty, the Executive Vice President Networks and Cybersecurity at Kotak Mahindra Bank. Abhijit, very, very warm hi to you. Good to be seeing you again. Please welcome Kapil Jaiswal, the Vice President Major Risks Practice at Gallagher. Please welcome Kapil. Kapil, I hope I said that right. But warm welcome to you. Can we please also have Navneethan M, the Senior VP CISO DPO at Alice Blue. Navneethan, so good to see you. I have to come and handshake with you. So good to see you. Thank you very, very much. Very happy you're here. Thank you. Likewise, sir. Likewise. Hello, hello, everyone. Thank you so much. Over to you. Over to you. Thank you.
Hello. Hi, thank you so much for, sitting so nicely with an expectant face. I love, this seeing you around the crowd. Cloud and, cloud and the cloud challenges and the advantages are something that we do not need to stress much. Cloud computing is the flavor of the season, but there are some interesting moves happening around the industry. People, as a set of people are moving more and more into the cloud, which is evident from the Gartner numbers. Gartner says that the investment in cloud is in 2024 to the tune of 675 billion US dollars, and it is growing at 20% year to year. But at the same time, due to various challenges, whether it is regulatory challenge, whether it is, challenges that people face while they are trying to work on the cloud, we have also seen a trend of some people bringing back their workloads and their applications from the cloud back to on-prem. Right? So this is the interesting landscape of cloud, and most of us who have gone for cloud computing are operating in a very hybrid setup, right? Which means that part of your applications, part of your data continue to be in on-prem, part are in the cloud. The other bit of hybrid is that you are operating in a mix of public and private cloud. Shadow IT is very much rampant in cloud. I know of almost all organizations where sub teams, like say a HR team, just thinks that something is a great solution, which can be as simple as a digital signing, right? Which is on the cloud. They just implement it. They don't often inform the technology and the security teams. And suddenly the technology and security teams wake up if they are trying to take an inventory. So these are those various challenges, along with the agility, the interoperability, the scalability that cloud offers. There are those challenges that cloud also gives us. And my esteemed panel members, who represent the technology side, the security side, as well as Navneethan, who also manages the data privacy side, would share with us today that how they have managed their cloud programming, cloud computing, what are the challenges, what are some of the real life examples that they had in this journey. So with this, maybe I'll start with Abhijit, you. Abhijit comes from the most regulated industry that we know of. He comes from a bank, right? He's in Kotak Mahindra Bank. So from a bank, while you moved or you had taken a decision to move to the cloud, what was your strategy? What were your thought processes? How did you go about it, considering the advantages as well as the compliance challenges that a bank might have?
Thank you for having me here, for hosting me. That's a pretty interesting question. I'll try and be as brief as possible now. Whilst moving to the cloud, the first thing that we looked at is what is ready to move to the cloud. It's not that you can just kind of tomorrow wake up and say, oh, I want to move to the cloud, right? So we looked at our applications. We looked at our applications and kind of made an assessment as to applications with monolithic architectures are definitely not going to the cloud because they will not live in the cloud. They can't survive. Having said that, as a bank, whilst we said that the core banking definitely cannot move to the cloud because that's a monolithic architecture, right? What can move to the cloud? You have the digital banking accounts. You go to any bank today, whether it is Kotak Bank, ICICI, HDFC, you open your accounts digitally, right? Now, that module of the digital banking is 100% on the cloud, right? Now, challenges with regulations and compliances, customer data on a public cloud, right? What's the solution to it? So what we did is, as a design principle, you have to have the web app DB all at the same place to ensure performance, and that was important. When you're opening a digital account on a mobile, you're not going to wait for minutes and for the pages to load, right? And this is all you filling up your form, furnishing your details, uploading your documents as per the requirement for account opening, that getting validated. So there's an API integration with a third-party cloud provider or a third-party system also, right? And then coming back, fulfilling all those requests and telling a customer, yes, your account is opened up, right? The challenge was for how long do we keep the customer data on the cloud? Now there's a security posture an organization can take. What we did as an organization is that we post the account opening, 30 minutes, the customer data, which is the PII data, we used to backfill back to our data center. So, the web and app used to continue to web on the cloud, but the PII data, we used to fill it back into our storages and archives into our data center. So thereby, was there a risk? Yes, half an hour is a risk. If there is a probability within that half an hour something can happen, it can happen, but you'll have to live with that risk also and design your systems accordingly. So this is the mannerism that we went around. So when you go to the cloud, you look at what are your application structures, you look what are your infrastructure standards, what is towards your visibility, how will you get visibility from what you put onto the cloud, what are compliances and requirements. The people from the banking industry here would know that the regulator mandates a database activity monitoring on the databases. Imagine you turning up an application inside a container. You can't install any agents inside a container. Doesn't work. Now what? Now you have to look at ways and means of still complying to that requirement, right? You'll have to look at how do I get OS logs? How do I get application logs? How do I export that back to my SIM? Where is my SIM located? Is it on-prem? Is it on the cloud? I think you'll have to go through all that before you go to the cloud. I mean, and we went through these exercises. Sometimes we made mistakes, but I think we failed fast and we learned fast. And then we started kind of making our own playbooks, saying that what do you do before you go to the cloud? Right. Thanks.
Excellent points, Abhijit. I love the examples you gave and you highlighted one of the very important things that before you take a strategy or a decision to move to the cloud, you have to, do a comprehensive assessment, right, of your existing infrastructure and application setup, and thereby, build up your strategy. So, on this note, Kapil, you belong to an organization which has a twofold approach. You have your internal, strategy of infrastructure management, whether you will be on-prem or cloud to manage, as well as being an insurance company, you have your clients to handle, right? You also look at your client strategy, you advise your clients on how their posture should be and what is the best insurance cover they should take should there be a cyber incident. So from your organization, Kapil, how did you go about into this assessment, both for your internal cloud strategy, as well as what are the things you consider while you advise your clients?
Right. When we look at the data, we actually look from both perspective, whether it is a client's data or whether it is a customer's data. The customer data which is exposed, which is a B2C data, yes, there are a lot of cloud solutions which are available, and yes, as an insurance broker or for that matter insurance companies also, they prefer to host this data on cloud. But there are certain core applications which are very important for the organization. At this juncture, I don't see any distributor or an insurance company exposing this on the cloud. So core applications are still on premises in-house, whereas the B2C, where there is a lot of interaction which are facing towards the customers, those are still getting moved to the cloud solutions. But now there is a change in the trend that the data which is exposed, which is hosted on the cloud, there are a lot of security breaches which has happened in last couple of years, and now even the insurance companies are thinking that the decision which they took in last 4 or 5 years, are they in the right hand? Is their data, is their client's data in the right hand? And they are now evaluating whether we should roll back and bring back the data on the premises. So this is one of the incidents which I would like to share. One of the biggest health insurance company, they had a data of 31 million customers, which had some crucial information, PI and sensitive data, including Aadhaar, including PAN card, and including other KYC details. That got exposed, and then there was a regulatory audit, there was an internal audit. They had been questioned by SEBI because they are a listed company. So yes, there is a challenge in hosting data on cloud, and the right now industry is going through whether they would want to expose this further or not.
And for the customers, what is your strategy that you follow when evaluating the customer's readiness?
Yeah, for the customer readiness, what we look at is we generally advise if they have some core solutions which are kind of in-house to them, and the critical solutions which are available. Generally, clients look to host it within the premises. They don't want to expose their critical solutions by using the cloud computing, right? And while evaluating, yes, there are certain factors basis which this has been we advise our clients to evaluate. One is, of course, is the client looking for a scalability? Are they looking for upgrades? Are they looking for a data security? And are they looking whether the data which has been exposed how critical is the data for the organization? Basis this combination of this kind of inputs that we provide to the clients, then a final decision is being taken in consultation with the management and the management approach towards the data security. But yes, we see a lot of exposure on the cyber breach in last few years, and that's how a lot of Indian companies as well as the MNC are getting much more conscious about this, and they are willing to invest a lot in technology, in-house technology, on-premises technology.
Thank you, Kapil. From both what Abhijit said and Kapil said, one thing that coming about is data security. And Navneetan, you are a CISO, you are also a DPO, and you are a fintech, company. So fintech, in addition to having the regulator, say a direct RBI moderating you also have the immediate I won't say parent, the immediate one who's giving you the money, right? Like a bank or a fund house, right? So you have that double-edged thing to do. So as a DPO, as a CISO, when you take your cloud strategy, what are those considerations that you did from an agility, or I will say balancing your compliance to your agility, to your cloud strategy, to your infrastructure, portability, all these requirements? What is your experience been, and what are the considerations you did?
Amazing, Mayur. Very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for having me. And it's a wonderful conversation, and thank you so much for the great input too. See, from the strategy standpoint, always we look for security by design. That's what it is, the first fundamental poster where we have look, whether it is on the cloud or whether it is a data center. As Abhijit mentioned, what needs to be hosted on the cloud play very significant role. So that's a security by design is a key focus. But however, business will take the first call. I mean, even though security is enabler and then supporting component, but we wanted to ensure that like how the business is helping and then what needs to be hosted on that environment does play a very significant role. Coming back to your second questions, we have started with a data center. That's what it is, our entire payloads on the data center. But when we want to scale up, where we have a lot of challenges in terms of how we want to do, scale up, right? And that's what we move to the cloud. And cloud helps a lot in terms of scalability. Like, over the peak hours, if you want to have it as a multi-million customers you want to load, I can load it and then I can get things done. That's not another problem at all. But at the same time, when we go in terms of the data security, standpoint, really we have a lot of challenges. We don't want to keep our, key customers' data on the cloud. Only the scale, only commute engine, just we want to keep it in the cloud, but not on your database, right? So those things just we kept it in, hybrid model. What we thought is, whatever we have onboarded to the cloud, we have reversed back to the our environment as a hybrid, and we made it as only the commit engines will be on the cloud, but in terms of entire database and entire data which sits in our environment. For that also, we have a lot of challenges in terms of the latency, because the fraction of second we have to fetch and then feed the data to the customers. That's what it is, the success rate coming to the picture. That's why we assure that SASE network, like from end to end, wherever you are, it is in the cloud network, in a less than a fraction of second, where you should be able to connect and then take it forward. And third, very interesting factors. Last week, most of the SEBI regulated my friends might be here, and where we are going through a lot of challenges in terms of one of the data center got infected by the the ransomware. It's like a 16 entity it got affected, and where we are going through that, what is IOC file, how we can stop, and then how we can prevent, and all the things and all. So by considering all the things, we have to balance, right? Because now the supply chain risk also playing very bigger role actually. So we cannot rely on complete data center. How you want to do the segregation, what needs to be keep where also, it's a clear strategy which needs to be assured that. Because complete data center also, from a data security standpoint, it will be a legal challenge. People may say that as ISO 47 certified and then XYZ certification. But certification is a hygiene, right? It will give the fundamental whether you have it or not. It doesn't mean like you are 100% stamped on, like any organization if you take. If you have a complete focus, consistency, if you want to break it, we can break it. Only thing is we have to understand the complete ecosystem, what is there, what is not there, how we wanted to propagate. There will be a definitely loophole because the entire organization is run by the supply chain. It's not like 20 years back. 20 years back, if you want to run the organization, we may not require external service. Everything is owned by us, but it's not like that. It's absolutely API driven. If you take any organization, if you take small tea shops also, no, it's done by multiple supply, vendor. Similarly, if you take any organizations, we run through the API. So that way, it is really we have a lot of a dependency in terms of to ensure the security of the respective organization. So that way, we have balance in terms of security by design by covering how we can have a hybrid, whether it is on-prem what needs to be kept, and then in terms of the cloud what needs to be keep it over there. And fourth very important point is. Say cloud, you know that, right? I believe most of the leaders might be using, where we have a 28,000 plus roles. If you take a one CSP, one cloud service provider, if you take 28,000 roles, we have it. Even though that's like, let us take who is a 7 to 8 years of experience in a cloud, themselves they are struggling like what new we are not sure. Because that's a level of complexity, it is keep coming. So what I need to compromise and then what I need to configure, that's a little bit challenge because the ecosystem is well connected. So how the data is being going out and then what it is coming out, which need a the complete holistic view of the data flow from the end to end. So that's also the bigger challenges. And the very interesting factors, of course, are cost. Right, cost optimizations play very significant role. When the initial stage we may see it's like it's absolutely fine. Who are all the new age, digital age organization? They can get into the cloud because the speed, agility, when you want on, we can switch on. If you want off, you can switch off. But once you stabilize, your business is, yes, this is what it is my business, this is what it is my architecture. Once you stabilize, then we can bring down all the things to the, your respective data center. Because that will optimize cost in terms of a huge and huge on them. So over to you. I'd love to hear other point of view.
Great. I think you touched upon two very important things. Of course, the security and of course, to ensure how you manage and bring the right balance between cost, security, the features of a cloud, right? And also balance your expectations, internal business expectations, right? Because finally, in a large way, business takes a call on whether, on which things they need to move to the cloud and all. On this, I'll come back to you, Kapil, and ask you that on this very factor of how businesses take a call, right? When you are now I'll ask you more from a client perspective, okay? When you are looking at your client's cloud strategy or cloud interface, right? How do you manage this expectation from the business to security or IT optimization viewpoint?
So yeah, this is one of the biggest challenge when we advise our client on the data security. And there are certain clients who are well prepared in terms of the infrastructure that they have, in terms of the domain knowledge that they have, in fact, the human capital that they have. So such clients are able to take conscious call and take appropriate decision whether they would want to outsource certain applications by hosting it on cloud, or they would prefer to keep it in-house. The trend which we see right now is some of the core softwares, some of the core applications are still in-house. Indian corporates are still not prepared to host them on cloud, primarily because of the data breach incidences which have taken over place of time. Yes, cloud computing brings a lot of ease to the business. Cloud computing brings a lot of cost optimization clause. Also, it decreases the capex, and the operational costs are still fine with the organization. So cost-specific organization are moving towards the cloud, whereas security point of view organization which focuses on their data, which focuses on the customer's data, and from a security perspective, they are still in middle. They are at a hybrid model right now, and yet to take a call which side to move. Thank you.
Great. And Abhijit, so when you gave some examples of the real world challenges that you faced. So if you have to now take a call today that you have a hybrid environment already, how do you and I'm sure that applications are dynamic, right? The infrastructure is dynamic. It is changing every time. New people are joining who have to be provisioned, right, on the cloud. How do you manage this orchestration between on-prem to a hybrid, between a public to a private cloud? How do you orchestrate the fine balance about which how much to be where?
I'll keep it really short. The trick is to get the trick correct. Now, the first trick has a TRICK. The second trick has the K missing. That's a self-coined acronym, and I always go by this. The TRIC stands for threat, risk, impact, and criticality. Get that clear. Get that clear. Get that documented. Get that approved. Look at that should take care of your risk management, security posture, exposures. I think the board also understands this, right? So you've got to get that trick correct. You have an automated system, you want to do it manually, whatever way you do it, but get the trick correct. The moment you get the trick correct, I think you should be able to take a fairly data-driven decision of whether to stay on-prem or to go on cloud. I think I'll leave it at that.
And maybe, to Navnithan, did you face specific challenges while you did this entire, strategy, and, you looked up it? Did you face any specific challenges, say, in terms of cost, getting budget approved, getting your board convinced of the budget, or in terms of skill sets? What are those challenges?
That is amazing. We have a bigger laundry list of the challenges, both aside whether it is on-prem as well as the cloud. The specific things we won't tell in terms of the integrations, because we do the integrations with a lot of technology, a lot of SaaS-based the applications, right? Sometimes the compatibility issues, sometimes there's the API connectivity issues, sometimes just we need a plugin of the respective component which needs to be, which is not there in on-prem, but which may be available in other CSP. So that aspect itself, where we have gone to the multiple cloud, it's a multi-cloud concept we create, like in terms of X is not there, maybe Y can offer. From there, we can pull this API and then route it to the, the respective area. So that's a bigger challenges in terms of because as I mentioned, without integrations, organization cannot run. So the integration is a bigger challenges in terms of the on-prem, in terms of the connectors and plugin, and then the API. That's the first one. And second one is the cost. When we grow, once you ramp up, the cost was, it was killing, right? If you come and then go also, there is a cost. It's not only in terms of utilization, right? Entry, exit also you have to pay, like a toll fee, So that aspect also play very, significant changes. We have done the, optimization. I think, offline will be the right option. That's what we have brought it as in terms of the data center. And third one is in terms of skill, the skilled resources to manage the specific multi-cloud it's a little bit challenge. It's like most of the place, even though, the 5 to 10 years of experience, where they do experiment and they get into like assuming that this may, the work on that. But there is a lot of things will play, on the different way. And fourth important parameter is, what we assume is like in terms of the ransomware attack. If you keep this, all the organization is in one place. If anything goes wrong in terms of redundancy, resiliency, we may have a lot of challenges, right? So that aspect also where we are looking like how do we balance if anything goes wrong, how we can assure that in terms of the redundancies, assure how we can assure that resilience also, so that the business will not affect in terms of the privacy or in terms of the security aspects.
Great. So I think, to wrap up, what we heard today from our esteemed panelists today, cloud has got its definite advantages, right? You get better agility, you get better connectivity, you have can manage costs if you do your strategy well. But we also understood that the risks range from data security to skilled resources to the cost to getting approval to not understanding our threats well, to also not having a proper assessment done of our infrastructure components, our workloads, our people, our access requirements, etc. And of course, the last bit is that when you are going to a cloud, there is this concept called a shared responsibility model, because in a cloud, there is the cloud service provider, and there is the customer, which is all of us here, right? So till you do not also consider the shared responsibility model, consider what are those security models, the components that the cloud service provider is providing to you, then sometimes it just is the gap in between that we expect this, the customer expects it is the service provider who is building it. The service provider thinks that it is the customer's responsibility. So it is a fine balance, but if we can do that, as the Gartner estimate says that from a 675 billion, the cloud costs are estimated to go 20% year on year. So with that, I thank all of the panelists here for the excellent thoughts, for the real life examples that all of you shared, and I hope that we all have something to take back to. If there are any questions, we'll be happy to take.
Panel, thank you very, very much. We're just heading into the networking luncheon, so we'll request if there's any question, they may, once you're done with your lunch, may interact with you post that. But for
Can
now,
we take one question at
right,
least?
we'll take one, yes.
Yes.
Could we see a show? Oh, sir, we'll just get the microphone to you. But in the meanwhile, can we have a round of applause, please, for the panel that really helped us decide with the right mix between the cloud and the on-prem solutions and more, how CXOs go about deciding. I think it was an impeccable discussion. Thank you very much, really. And sir, we'll let you please ask the question.
Yeah, I heard that there is a breach of a customer data which were stored in the public cloud. So in that case, if the claim comes, who will bear the cost? Is the bank or the insurance agency or the cloud service provider? Is that written in the agreement?
Yeah, I'll take that question. So it is very primitive in India right now, but globally and for the developed markets, there are software performance guarantee insurance. So you would have recently heard about the incidents where one of the map service provider did not block a particular bridge in a town in UP, and the person took the bridge incidentally, that bridge was not operational for over a year, and it was already partially collapsed. So such type of incidents, the software guarantee, performance guarantee insurance takes care of it. There are certain companies who have already started showing interest in this, and yeah, there's a long way to go. Such type of claims can be picked up in an insurance policy. I hope I was able to answer your.
Or you can continue the discussion over lunch. Thank you very much. Thank you to the audience for listening to us. And thank you again to the panelists. Thank you.